Sorry, I had to get my kids like set for dinner.
No, you are good to go. Hey guys, happy Thursday. Welcome to our Thursday night mentorship. We're super excited to see you guys, and I apologize if my voice is a little bit lower. As much as I want to mentor everyone, I'm sure the airport does not want me to do that. So tonight, Abby, Jess, and I decided that we know that sometimes when we say go and work the business, that might be confusing to you, right? And so we thought it would be nice if we gave you some specific tangible tasks so that you understood what that looked like. And so hopefully most of you are in a position to be able to kind of work right alongside us tonight. I actually did a power hour at 5:30 this morning. But I wanted to just make sure, number one, you guys know what the business activity tracker is. And number two, that you realize that there's a digital tracker. And I don't know if we can share our screen, guys.
Do that right now.
Okay, cool. Because this is going to change your life, and you guys are going to be like, wow, this really is so simple. I don't have to overcomplicate this, because if you can stick to these tasks each day, a minimum of 5 days a week, I promise you, you are going to move your business forward. You're going to be planting seeds that will harvest in the future. Okay, so Jess is sharing her screen now. And this is the Success Club activity tracker. Everyone has access to this in the back office. You click on Grow My Business, and then right there, Jess is highlighting it. It says Daily Tracker. If you're on your phone, it pops up right under like your coach ID and Success Club qualifications. So just click on that. Sorry. This is freedom, guys. Being able to travel on a Thursday. Okay, so each day you're going to have these different activities. So number 1 and 2, that should be automatic for you. Being proof the products works, drinking your shake. And then the next tab is going to take you through. Hold on, sorry guys.
Do you want me to take it, Melissa?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we can totally do it in that way. You're not like juggling at everything. Okay, so feel free to jump off or cut in, but I love this. And you can do this on your phone, guys, too. You can just save this to your home screen and pull it up and do it. But we're just going to initiate conversations, invite people, and we'll talk about what these are. Follow up, do your social media post, right? Talking about stuff, update your stories throughout the day, and respond to all new likes, comments, or views. And I love that it has these little timestamps by it, because it can really be easy to get sucked in and spend like an hour being like, who do I connect with? And you can do that. Like if you have 8 hours to work your business, awesome, but most of us don't. So this really helps you kind of stay on task with those things. And you can just check it off as you go through. Getting people results. We'll just kind of go these and then we'll do the work. Contributing to your challenge group. So if you are leading a challenge group, your daily post, even if you're not leading one, are you adding value in there? Are you going and checking in with those people? Recognizing achievement, whether it's in your team page, in your challenge group, just we're all about a shout out. That's one of our vital behaviors, right? It's recognition, and it's so fun. Follow up with new Shakeology users. There's actually a whole, if you look on the left screen, a whole Shakeology follow-up section. So super helpful. You're like, what does that mean? Well, here you go. All set. And this is huge for retention. These kinds of things, guys, are really important, because retention is what makes people reorder. It's what helps you see a growth in commissions. Honestly, most people don't feel or see massive changes if they drink Shakeology twice a month and don't use up their bag. But if we can help them really see the benefit of over time what this does to their body, it's so helpful. So that really helps. And then responding to questions from customers and coaches if you have them. Obviously, some days you may not. And then your PD, again, so easy, so simple. You all should be reading or listening to something. I love that half of our vital activities is taking care of ourselves first, right? It's doing our own workouts, staying on our nutrition, and engaging in personal professional development. I put this off as a new coach for about a year. I didn't think I needed it. I had my devotions and I called that good. And I will tell you, personal development will change your business massively. And if you need help with that, we will help you kind of see through those things. So that's a massive overview. We can go through this with you guys on the actual power hour, but I would love if you either want to unmute or drop in the chat, like which of these things I could guess, but I want to hear from you guys. Which of these things are you really struggling with? Like, be honest what you are putting off for yourself. Oh my word, Ashley, you are wearing a face mask. I love it.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Bravo. Hand clap.
Jessica's challenge where she was, so Jess today did her workout with her mask on. It was like double mobbing. I love it. And what you guys don't know is Ashley is like a freaking bombshell, like stunning, gorgeous person. This is the secret. I love it. Okay, so sorry, side note, Ashley's the best. So we can go through this step by step, and we want this to be a working time, so we'll just kind of share what we're doing along with you guys. But are there areas in this that you're like, I really struggle with this? Because honestly, 90% of it is going to be mindset around that. If you're like, I can't send invites, it's not a problem, it's a mindset problem. So drop those below if you're struggling, and then we can kind of just go through. I know Jess, we're kind of winging it, or Melissa, if there's like a way you guys want to do it. I'm gonna take a bite of my dinner.
So then I would say if no one's struggling with anything, you guys are like ready to like be elite coaches, you're hitting Success Club, perfect. We're getting some people engaging. Remember, this works better if you guys engage because we don't know, right? So Renee said inviting people. So Renee, can you unmute yourself and expand on that?
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oops, what happened?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I just lost my screen though. I don't know what happened to you guys. So my biggest issue has been inviting people. Like nobody has any interest. Everybody's telling me it's too expensive. They don't have time.
So is it the actual sending invites, or is it more of how to deal with those conversations when they come with price objections and time objections?
It's kind of both. I haven't sent out very many invites. I did kind of send out maybe 3 or 4 to family, and I didn't even get a response. I had a friend that's been following me, and it took me 2 months just to get her on board. And I finally got her signed up with a challenge pack, and then she just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. I had a new Instagram follower, so I started chatting things up with her last night, and I sent her an invite, but I haven't heard anything back. But it's kind of odd because I've always been an introvert. I don't leave my house. I don't really talk to people. So it's kind of like I've just been putting myself out there on social media and showing what I'm doing, hoping that people will respond. And I'm getting people that like my stories, love my stories, comment on my posts. But then when I go to start to talk to them about, hey, would you have any interest in this? It's just kind of like I get shut down right away.
So first of all, amazing job putting yourself out there. Awesome job
Thank
reaching
you.
out to your family. I'm really proud of you for having conversation and reaching out to your new Instagram follower. Those are all things to celebrate. Those are all wins and progress. Let me ask you this. How are you a newer coach?
I am. I've only been signed up since February 26th.
Okay, awesome. And since February, or even in the last month, how many people would you say that you've invited?
1, 2, about 4.
Okay, so when you're judging your success on 4 people, it's not an accurate judge of the reality of how many people really do need and want this. I will say, if you were to invite and have a conversation with 100 people, then we could have like a little bit more to work with. You know what I mean? Oh my
Yeah,
God, is trying to my computer. So I would say, like, and I'm sure the other coaches have more to add, but keep showing up. Are you showing up consistently on social media with your own journey?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's going to pay off in dividends. Even the people who have not responded to you or who have told you no, it's a lot of them will come around for sure. That's happened to all of us. So keep, and when you get these objections of price or of time, those become material that you can learn and teach about. So learn why this is incredibly inexpensive. There's so many videos on YouTube about that. I have some too. And then teach that on your social media, because if they're a new Instagram follower of yours, they're going to be watching your Instagram stories and watching your Instagram posts. Then you're not necessarily speaking directly to them, but you are in a passive way. And then your confidence on this topic is going to skyrocket, because in your heart of hearts, you realize, oh, it's not expensive, because I just learned how much it is to get these things separately. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Same with time. Anytime, and this for everybody, anytime you get any kind of objection, it's really amazing opportunity to teach people and to learn how to show up as a coach in a way that's providing value. Sorry. On the specific topics that people are hung up on. So instead of just talking about how you make zoodles more delicious, you're saying, hey, for all of you busy moms out there, or busy women out there who are working full time and don't have time to take care of yourself, I have something for you. And all of a sudden, you are the solution to their objection for not working with you. It's just because they don't understand it yet. Sorry, she's loud. Abby, do you have anything else?
Yeah, totally. So I'll share a couple things, because I always find it helpful when people are giving me like, hey, what are you sending and how are you sending it? I'll share those with you in just a sec. But I really think that like everything that Jess said, the mindset around inviting, because I was like, I didn't want to like tell you guys that's what you were going to ask, but I know that's what everyone struggles with. So 2 things first before I tell you kind of how I invite. The first thing is, I really want you, and if you want to drop it in the chat, do it. I think it's so powerful to read other people's stories. But like, first of all, why are you a coach? And it's going to look different for everybody, but I can tell you that when I started, I was super passionate, yes, about health and fitness, but I also saw Beachbody as a way to get my son out of daycare. He was struggling so bad. And so every day when I would drop him off and I'd watch him like in a little too big backpack toddle into school, and it would like make me cry. At night when I was tired after working a full day and I got the kids down, I would think about that mental image and think, how can I not go send 3 invites to help another gal change her life and feel amazing? Yes, but like, it's not that hard. And so if you're not connected to your why, and yours might look different than mine, and that's awesome, it should, that can be really, it can be unmotivating to send the invites or do the post or do the follow-up or show up consistently if you're not deeply rooted in why you're showing up in the first place. That is going to give you a passion that none of us can instill in you. So if you're struggling with that, I would say tap into that first thing. Why are you a coach? What are you doing? Who are you doing this for? Who's going to be impacted by the work that you do? Whether it's income wise or breaking cycles and trends in your family, or help, like whatever it is, like you have to be dialed into that. The second thing with inviting is, I think we've all seen it done so poorly. None of us will ever tell you go send cold invites and spam people. That's obnoxious. I've gotten them. It's awful. It's icky. But inviting, like most people, first of all, are not just sitting on their phone all day waiting to respond to you in 2 seconds. So sometimes they go unread because their kid fell in the toilet or their dog started puking or like what happened. So don't get offended by that. Like follow-ups are super important. But your initial invite, like I'm an introvert. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like respond to just people throwing out blanket invites. I like to feel special. So, I think other gals have used this example, and if you're on my team, you've heard me say this a million times, but I'll think about my daughter's 4th birthday. Makes me so sad, is in about 2 weeks. I could be posting all the like the cute cake maker I found locally and the Etsy decor I'm getting, and ask for recommendations of where we should throw her party and all this stuff. And you'd be like voting in my polls of like which cake, you could be engaged in planning Paisley's birthday party. And when I post and say, hey, Memorial Day weekend, like it's at 2 p.m. at this park, I would love for everyone to come, you're not going to show up, right? You don't feel invited to that. But if I were to reach out to you and say, hey, Ashley, like, oh my gosh, I would love if you and the kids could come to Paisley's party. It's going to be at 2, like no pressure to bring presents. It's going to be super fun. You would probably show up, or even if you couldn't, you would be grateful you got the invite, right? It makes you feel special. Inviting your challenge groups is just like that. People see you, and it has to all go together, right? You have to be consistent on social media, talking about your own journey, or your invite falls flat. Like it doesn't work. But if you see you showing up and getting results and pushing play after work or at 5 a.m. or what healthy lunches you're packing to work or whatever it is, they see you having that party. Guess what? They're not going to just respond to your poll. I mean, maybe they will. People rarely reach out to me. And if they do click on my polls, it's always like followed up by an instant message of like, oh my gosh, I did not mean to click that. Like, do not invite me to your group, right? They're not just coming to us in swarms I have to invite them. And when I invite them and when I do that follow-up, it gives them a peek into how I will be as their coach. I care about them as an individual, and they might say no and they might ignore the message, and that's okay. My feelings don't get hurt. I know that for every 10 messages I send, I may only get one response. My feelings aren't, I mean, I get annoyed with it. I'm not going to lie because I'm human, but my feelings aren't hurt by that anymore. I just know that. So I know if I want to hit Success Club 5, right? That's 3 people. If every 10 invites I send is a yes, then I have to send at least 30 invites, at least, right? And then that's like, oh my gosh, 30 invites. Well, guess what? If I send 3 a day for an entire month, that's 90 people. That's almost 100 people that I have conversations going with, that I have follow-ups to do with, that say no, but then are creeping on my stuff for the next 2 years and decide to join me 2 years later. That happens. So if you think about these things of like consistent small behavior. So when I was a new coach, and I still live by this, it was the power of 3s. I would say I have to send 3 invites. I have to add 3 people to my network. And at the time, way back when, we had to do like multiple social media posts a day. We don't have that now, thank God. So it was 3 posts. You don't have to do that. Do your stories in a post, right? If you can do that consistently over 30 days or even 5 days a week, and you take the weekends off, that's close to 100 posts, new connections, new people. And it's that compound effect that really starts to blow. So if you go send 20 invites, burn yourself out, everyone says no, and your posts fall flat, and you're not going to show up in the next 3 weeks because you feel like I suck as a coach and everyone hates me. And then you like try to scramble into the Success Club, you're going to feel burnt out and stressed. But if you can just do these little bite-sized things every single day, you're going to see it take off. So enough about that. So let me share. So some invites, like I'm super low key. I'm not awkward with it. I will make sure that I'm posting every day something about my challenge group, something about coaching in my posts or my stories. And I invite off of that. So it might be like, if I've never talked to the person in my life, I'm not going to cold it. Let's say Jessica is creeping on my stories. I'm not going to say, girlfriend, join my group. I might say, hey, saw you in my stories. Like, it's a total hot mess here, but I love connecting with other moms. Like, how are you doing? And just introduce myself. So that's thing 1. I don't cold invite people I've never talked to, but I do connect with them. Thing number 2 is if they, after I've had that initial connection, I don't like small talk. I don't drag it on. That's annoying. Don't do that unless you like that kind of thing. I don't just continue conversations awkwardly. But if she's engaging on my posts and continue to watch, I might go like a couple of her things and watch her stories and give her back some love. And then the next day or in a couple days, I'll send her an invite if she's still watching my stories and say, hey, I saw you watch my story today. I'm so excited about my May challenge group and I am loving this workout. Would you like to work out with me? And I could totally send you the free sample. That's not a lot. That's not a 2-paragraph thing of how Beachbody has changed my life and how much challenge group got. Like, it's literally just like, do you want to work out with me? Do you want to try the free sample? That's all it is. And then in a follow-up, I follow up. And so again, if you guys have not invited yet today, I'd encourage you to get those out. I have it written down here. Just trying to find it. Hold on. Is this helpful? I'm trying to find it here. I'm sorry.
While Abby's looking for that, just so you guys know, in the chat, I put a link to, I did a training a while ago on 6 steps to master inviting. And it's a lot
that is good.
It's a lot of what we're telling you right now,
Yes.
but it's in PDF and there's example invites for like close friends and or family and example invites to other people. So
that invite is gold. Okay, so this is my follow-up. I would do like 48 hours later because someone's kid might be puking or they might have had their internet go out. But like, again, no judgment. I'm not bugging them, but I say something like, hey, I wanted to check in with you. I promise I haven't forgotten about our conversation. Do you have any questions about sign-up options? I want to make sure you're feeling ready and excited to go for day 1. It's not like join my group and it's literally like, I want to make sure you're doing fine. And I would send that if we've already kind of gone over like what their goals are. I don't drop the challenge pack price in our first conversation and we can go over that, but that's literally it. So we overcomplicate these things in our head. Or like, I can't be fine. Like, hey, do you want to work out with me? Hey, did you have friends? 9 people might say no to you. That means you're a failure. So I would, if tonight, if you're like listening to this as we kind of jump in here, I would go through your story views and your post likes and go send those kind of messages. If you haven't talked to them in a while, if you haven't engaged with them before, just go be like, hey, thank you so much for the love. Like, I'm a hot mess mom of 2 in Oregon. Tell me about you. I like to, I used to say I love sharing about fitness, my faith, my family, and my business. What kind of things do you like to see? And usually they'll respond. No one ever says business. Usually they'll respond back like my family. And I'm like, awesome. How many kids do you have? And it just opens that conversation. That's all that that's doing. And it gives me free reign to invite them later. And if they are someone that I've engaged with, then I'm just like, hey, my next group is starting in 2 weeks. I would love to have you. We're getting awesome results. You see me shout out the girls in stories. It's so much fun. Do you want to try the sample? Or something along those lines that sounds like you. That's all it is. Don't overcomplicate it in your brains.
I think that's so good. It's so true. We do overcomplicate it. And as you were talking, I wanted to ask, because I feel like we don't, so many coaches struggle with inviting, and I've been the same. I've struggled with inviting and then I'll just ignore it. And it doesn't work. Like, I don't do that. I'll just ignore it. She just fell asleep just right now. Here's 2 thoughts for you guys. One, does anyone so let me preface this with saying there's so many different right ways to invite. The one wrong way to do it is by not doing them, or by being super salesy and reaching out to strangers and saying, hey, buy this challenge pack. Here's how much it is. Support me in my goals. That is not how we do things. But there's so many right ways to do it too. So you have to first, that's why if you click on that link, like the number one thing is to check like your mindset. Just like Abby said, you have to know what your own stuff is going in here. Here's an idea, and it's something that I've shifted. I've been coaching for 5 years and I just started doing this. I set up a free community, not a free group, a free community on Facebook. And I post things in there, like our free workouts that we have, free recipes from the Beachbody On Demand blog, the infographics from the Beachbody Champions page about our products, or some of the videos that Darren makes and our product toolkits about our nutrition programs and about our fitness programs, all done for you stuff, right? I post that in this free community. When I'm sending invites, I invite to my free community. Now, does any of you feel right now in your spirit a lift of, oh, if I was inviting to a free community, I could do that a little bit more easily? Like I would actually send out a lot more invites. Does anyone feel like, oh, maybe I could feel better about that? Because we get so many weird in our head with money stuff, like so many people do. And that's why I wanted to address this, because I think that this is what's stopping a lot of people. So this is how this kind of funnel for me right now goes. I invite to my free community on social media. And then from my free community, where they've given me permission and they have told me, yes, I want to know more about living a healthy and fit life. From there, I will invite them to my paid challenges. And the benefit of moving from my free community to my bod group is, first of all, they're getting product. That's a huge benefit. They're getting the stuff that I'm talking about, but they also get to participate in my bod group. So I personally run ongoing bod groups because I know me, and I know that it's too much for me to run separate groups every month and re-invite everybody every month. So for me personally, I call it my transformation studio. That makes sense to me because I want people to experience a transformation. So when I'm inviting them to a transformation, and I'm asking them specific questions on where do you want to be 90 days from today? Let me help craft a plan of action for you to get you there. That's my verbiage. You all have that available to you to do something that makes sense to you. That's value, right? And then in my bod group, I'm doing these weekly leaderboards, which if you guys want more information about that, I can absolutely get it to you and give you like the Canva template and everything. But it's made my bod group explode. Well, guess what I'm doing in my free community? I'm shouting out the people that are on the leaderboard in my bod group so they want to participate. They want to be over. They want the products. They want to get the results other people are getting. So that's kind of been my funnel that I've been trialing. Some people, this is way too overwhelming, too many steps. I don't want to do that. If that's you, when you hear me talk about this, don't do it. Please do not do it. But for those of you who literally are stopping yourself and getting in your head because you can't invite people straight to your challenge group from Instagram, this is a way to where there's more of like a funnel system to get them there. Either way, we have to invite people to the gift that we have if you want to grow a business. If you want to help people, if that's really what you're here for, you have to talk to them. And I think it's important for us to remember too, connecting is different than inviting. And you can't really connect with people unless you're showing up with your own journey. It's hard to invite if you're not connecting. So it's like, it's that whole attract people, connect people, invite people is a process. And if you miss the first steps, it makes the second steps harder. I know that's kind of a lot I threw at you, but does that help? Like, does that make sense at all? Do you have any questions about that? How I do that?
Makes total sense.
Okay.
Are you doing it just in a Facebook group?
Mm-hmm.
And then are you just adding, like, how often are you posting in there? Are you doing it daily? Are you just sharing free workouts? Like, how much of your time is spent there versus your challenge groups?
So I actually just changed the way I'm doing my challenge groups too, and I'll tell you guys about that if you want. But I try to post in there like 5 to 7 times a week, but like this last week I didn't post in there at all. I totally dropped the ball. But I have over 500 people in there because I've built it for that used to be my team page for customers and coaches, and I decided just to make it a free community. I've learned a lot from other network marketing people, like who I get my nails from, and like the Zaya reps, and how they have free communities that they invite people to learn more about Red Aspen nails, for example. And every time someone places an order, they shout them out on there. And when people get their box, they take pictures of their nails and they're so excited about it. And I'm like, why don't we do that? Why don't we do that more? Why don't we have more of an interest community? And then it's easy to post to spam them with all of your stuff because they ask to know more, you know? And then in my challenge group, I used to do the mompreneur guides and schedule posts. And I actually got this from Kate Schultes. She stopped doing them because I felt very disconnected. My bod group was just really lame, to be honest. I didn't want to be in there. And so I don't know why anyone else would want to be. So instead, I stopped doing those scheduled posts, and I do my workout check, like log for the day, or sometimes I'll do a separate live video, is my daily post, and I add value in the text section of my picture, and I pin it to the top. I've been going live in there more lately, and that's been good. And then I'll just post like what speaks to me that morning when I'm doing my personal development, a quote or something. But the leaderboards have honestly been the biggest game changer.
I had the same thing happen with Mompreneur, and I still use it, but I tweak the content and I don't pre-schedule it. I schedule it the night before, which is kind of a hassle, but I felt like when I scheduled it on a Sunday for the entire week, even though it was time saving for me, I just completely detached. And so I schedule it the night before. I kind of tweak it to where I want to be. I have been going live a lot more too, and that's been helping.
That's awesome.
Okay, questions as we're going through, because I want to make sure it's like profitable for you guys.
I know.
Mindset, invites. Are there other things that you're struggling with, like how to find people or what to say? I can share some stuff that's been working for me with growing my following, if that would be helpful. Yes, okay.
That'd be great, Abby.
Yeah, so I know Jess uses him too, Brock Johnson, like literally can't say enough. If you want the link to his Insta Club Hub, Jess and I both have it, or Melissa, like it's totally worth the money. But even if you're not ready to pay for something, go to follow him on Instagram, like Brock Johnson. Like he just gives daily tips. He's doing his Reels challenge, and I will be honest, I hate doing Reels. They are not fun for Ashley. On here is the queen of them. But they are growing my following, and that's what Instagram's promoting. So every single day I try to have a reel. I haven't done one yet today, so I'm gonna have to do that tonight. And then I do not dance. I'm not super funny. I'm not uber trendy. And I don't personally like reels that are like salesy. And so what I found has kind of been my sweet spot the last month I've been playing with it has been doing a reel a day that's very niche oriented, like funny mom life. Like just so if you go look, or because, and I'll just be super honest, like I'm in Oregon and we're locked down, and I have a lot of mamas who follow me who are like over it too. So I'm very niched right now. I had one of those like The Office, like, do you want to form an alliance? Like if you're a mom who is this, you know, so it's very niched. So I'm doing one reel a day that's just either adding value or being funny. It's not about joining my challenge group. It's not about joining my team. I've seen those out there. Those are awesome, but they're not connecting for me. So I have that. And then in my post for the day, if I can get one up, and I try to do a post at least 5 times a week, that's not a reel, that is where I have like the heavy hitter, the feels, the value added, like here's my story. So I just put one up tonight about taking my daughter to gymnastics. It's a coaching post, a little bit of fitness sprinkled in there. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. And the other thing that I'm going through is in my stories every single day, I'm really, again, talking to my niche. So talking to other moms who are in the same struggle boat as me. Actually, our internet was out, so my stories are a horrible example. So go follow me tomorrow. It'll be better. But really niche down. And then I've been tagging certain accounts. And again, this won't work depending, but I'll just give you a really clear example that like our kids in Oregon right now are masked up playing sports outside. It's absurd. We had a girl have CPR on her 2 hours from where I live right now because she collapsed in a basketball game yesterday. Like it's insane, regardless of how you feel about anything. Like, I think everyone can agree that that's crazy. And so there's all these Unmask Our Kids Oregon's groups of moms who are really trying to get activated and work with our state capital. Well, guess what? When I'm out there with my kids and our stories and I'm commenting on it, I'm tagging those accounts in my stories. They repost my stories to their account. And it's a whole group of moms who are exactly like me. And they come to my page and they see posts that are speaking to them. They're following me. So I'm growing my following, not rapidly, but with quality people right now who feel the same way. And the takeaway from that is don't be afraid to niche down and get really bold about how you feel about something. If you completely disagree with me on masks, that's okay. Talk about that on your page, right? Like, you want to find your tribe. I want to work with gals who resonate with me. And so I'm not going to shrink myself down to fit their mold. Another example for you would be, I struggled for a long time as a mom talking about wanting to work because I just felt like I want to be with my kid. Like I really struggled with that. And when I finally owned the fact that I freaking love to work, I love being successful, I love having something that's for me. And I also really like making sourdough bread and hanging with my kids and doing, I don't really love laundry, but like being a homemaker, I like both of those things. And I'm just going to be like, this is me. And I'm not going to only try to talk to the homemakers, but I'm going to talk to the working moms too. And guess what? I attracted freaking Ashley Doringer on this team, who's a rock star. And I know she feels the same way. And so we can connect on that in a way that if I hadn't talked about really wanting to have value add. So as you're thinking about your coaching, as you're thinking about your challenge groups and your posts, don't try to please Susie that you went to high school with. Okay, she's probably making snarky comments about the other girls you went to high school with too. Disregard her. Think about who were you 2 months ago or 2 years ago, or who do you want to freaking go on a success club trip with? Or if you were to invite someone to come work out with you in your garage at 5, who would you want to have fun with? And just talk to her. And you know what? You're going to get probably fewer likes on your posts. You probably will. You might get fewer comments, but it's going to really start hitting home to the person who needs to hear that message. And they're the ones that you're going to have the most fun with, that are going to stick around. And so think about how you can niche down in your stories. And then again, if you have, it doesn't have to be like, I was sharing like kind of like probably insane examples, but it doesn't have to be like hot button political issues. But if it's like you do red Aspen nails, or you, I don't know, you love golden retrievers, or like start finding some accounts that are reposting stuff like that and tagging them. Because, oh, and the other thing is too, is I will tag someone, like if I share their quote or whatever, I just don't share it. I tag them in the comment and add something of value. Like let's say Jess posted this awesome thing, like quote, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to share that to my stories and be like, Jessica Lanier, you always like, this is exactly what I needed after I did like that. She's more likely to repost that into her stories because that was like really complimentary to her. And then her followers, because we're human and we're nosy, they're going to be like, ooh, Abby was having a hard day. Who is this Abby girl who's having a hard day? Like, I'm going to go see her hard day. Because that's how human beings work, right? And so just think about that. Like, it's just, if you're not getting what you want, if you're not getting likes, if you're not getting comments, if you're not getting this thing, are you giving those? Like, people will give what they want to receive. So I don't want you on social media for 5 hours a day, but in 15 minutes, if you're going to sit down and be like, I'm going to grow my following, I want you to give what you want to receive to people, and then go niche down. And if you are a concealed carry patriot mama, like go to the concealed carry leggings store and start adding all those freaking girls on there. Or if you are super passionate about, you know, I don't know, whatever, like something else, like do that. So that's what's working for me. And reels, Ashley, tags on reels, yes. do tags on reels. Brock talks all about this stuff. So like go follow him because he gives like literally just go to his page. He talks about this.
Hey, Abby, can we pause real quick too? Because I think what you just shared is a game changer on growing your Instagram. And I want to make sure everyone got that. Does anyone have any questions about exactly what she means? Like find specific accounts that are specific to you, follow their followers. That's like, go tag them in your post. Does everyone get that? Does anyone have questions about that? I just want to make sure because this is where we need to be adding followers. Do not go to the explore page and just random people. Like be intentional with your time. Otherwise you really are throwing it away. And I think Abby, you're probably talking about this next because Michaela had mentioned too, she gets nervous voicing certain things like that, especially in our political climate. I understand that. And I will tell you, you're going to get the haters. If you're not, are you truly being authentic to yourself? Because it doesn't matter what you have an opinion about. You're like these days, like there's so much division, you know?
Everyone's offended about everything.
Everyone, yes.
You say you want to be have healthy kids, and they're like, how dare you?
How dare you?
Like McDonald's.
I know.
Jessica, I was reading through some of your posts and I was just like, man, yes. I was like, I love her.
Okay.
And so my reaction, I was like, oh my gosh, and so I've been thinking about how to incorporate, more like specific opinions into things. So yeah, definitely. I see how that works though.
Yes, because that's the reaction you want your readers to have. And if they don't agree, they will unfollow you and you want them to. Like the messages that I've gotten about me being absurd and uneducated, even though like this is my specialty field in life and my career, I don't want to work with them. You couldn't pay me enough money to work with these people, and that's kind of the perspective I think that we need to have on social media. Not that we need to be divisive, but we need to find our people. Like Abby said, you don't want to go on a Success Club trip with someone who is morally different than you at a moral foundational level, because not only is it going to be hard for you to connect with them, but it will put a rock in your team and it will be divisive in your team. I've experienced that and it is not fun. You want to avoid that happening as much as possible.
Yeah, don't feel like I'm not telling anyone to go out and post like, if you never talk about politics, like don't all of a sudden go posting political, I was just using that example because that was like, for me, like, be yourself. But if you're sitting here, whether it's like, I feel embarrassed to talk about like wanting to be a stay-at-home mom who has a job, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be like stance on mask direct, anything. Like, just be you, be 100% you, because like she said, everyone's offended by everything these days. Literally, it's almost comical. So like, just own your story, 200%, your personality, and that's going to come through. Ashley, did you have something?
I had a question. So I love making reels and they're super fun.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time with time management in terms of it takes me it's going to sound like that person. To make a quality reel, it takes a solid like 30 to 60 minutes.
Well, you do like the outfit changes, like you go hardcore on them. Yeah.
And I find that gets a lot of views, but I find when I add a lot of text to it, there is a lot of interaction. But when I have a very small, concise thing, it creates a lot of engagement. But I feel that I don't get the business part across and whatnot unless I write a post, which is
that's it. So, and I'm not the queen of this. This is literally just what's worked for me last month. And if Jess has something else to add, in my mind right now, reels, because Instagram's pushing them. So whether I like them or not, I have to go with it. Reels are a way for me to connect with like on a funny, lighthearted way with people like me. And then my posts, when they come to my feed, it's like the hammer drops.
Okay.
And so if you can do a reel a day, like let's say you try to have 4 to 7 reels a week, like that's a goal. And then maybe your goal is to have 4 to 5 posts a week. There's gonna be days where, and if you get more, awesome, but like there's gonna be days where it overlaps. But I feel like in your reels, like just make it funny and like you're a hoot. You're so funny. I freaking love watching your reels. They make me laugh, but I'm not necessarily clicking on the text to read it because I feel like people want to be entertained with reels. And that's what they share. They're not sharing even the educational ones as much, unless it's that garlic one where saw that one where it got chopped in half. Everyone was sharing that. The one that got the most views, I'm trying to share my screen here. I'll show you. The most views that I've had, or one of the most, I can't share my screen, is
Let me try.
do you guys know how to remix?
Yeah, I've been doing it with Sean T.
Yeah.
Baller.
So I found this, and I like, if you're trying to be like, well, where do I find reels? I just take a few minutes. Again, you can get sucked into this, guys. You get sucked in. Don't. I'll just scroll through and be like, oh, that, if it made me laugh or it was funny, I'll go to that and I'll just save it. I have a reels folder in Instagram where I save them to be able to recreate. Or I'll go look, because I don't do dancing, I don't do singing ones. That's not me. But if it's like a talking one, and there's a few girls now that I know to follow because they have good stuff. So then I don't copy, but like I go. So let me show you.
I made you the host. I think it should help you now. There you go.
Okay. This reel got me follows, lots of follows and views because the girl reposted it in her stories. I like almost peed my pants laughing at this. It was, go watch it because it's the funniest. Like,
So funny.
Dying. This reel, guys, took me 15 seconds to make because all I did was I watched it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. I half thought about recreating it and I was like, that'll take me way too much time. So then I'm like, Ben, you have to come watch this with me. I hit remix and just recorded our reactions to this reel. I got like 15 followers out of this. It has a ton of views. It took me literally no time. I'm just sitting here laughing, watching people. So don't feel like, if when I say do a reel a day or something like that, that you have to take all this time. If you find one that speaks to your people, just even remix it. And she was like, oh, like she tagged me in her stories and was like, thanks for sharing. This was so funny. And I'm like, okay. So look at what gets views for you. So I just am doing like funny ones.
Oh my gosh, your Aunt Flo one was hilarious.
Yeah, like period ones. Like I was trying to talk to mom. This was late night mom workout ones. These are not, like, if you look at the text, they're not a lot of value added other than entertainment, because that's what I like. So think about what if you love something else, then do you. But then in my posts, that's where you see more of the other one. And this is, again, something I learned from Brock. So go check out this thing. This is a repost. This has like it's actually over 300 saves right now, this one. And then this one right here, again, I gave credit to the person who did it. Thanks, Neat Mom, for the laugh. This one got me over 30 followers and it has over 700, it has 926 likes. Now, likes does not equal value, but this got me a lot of followers. Again, there's no value added. I just was laughing because this was happening to me and I was like, that's funny. So go to Neat Mom if this you think is funny. Go repost something of theirs. Give them credit. You don't want to just steal people's stuff. But then this was a post I did a day later about my coaching anniversary. This is a heavy hitting recruiting post, right? This is a heavy hitting business post. So it's sprinkled in there. This one, like they're in there, but I'm really trying to niche down and talk to my people. So I don't know if that helps.
I think that the goal is to entertain people on Reels, to be honest. I really do think that's what it is, because that's how they're gonna, like, humor is a way to connect with people. I want to be friends with funny people. Like,
Yeah.
I love, like, Abby and I are so similar in so many foundational things anyways, but I love Abby's Reels. Like, if we weren't friends, I would want to be friends with her. And then what happens, you're your own billboard, right? And so when I want to get healthy and fit and I don't know what to do and I'm struggling, and I have loved following Abby because she's hilarious and she's a mom and she gets it. And all of a sudden I see a post inviting people to her challenge group. I'm going to actually want to do that with her because I feel like I know her because she has been funny. Do you know what I mean? She's been entertaining and I want to be friends with her. And that's the goal of social media. It's a marketing platform. So you have to market who you are, essentially, because people could buy Shakeology off of Amazon, unfortunately. But why are they going to want to buy it from you? And that's where marketing comes in.
Yeah. So just don't be overwhelmed by all this. Like, literally, I want to stop you guys if you're sitting here being like, no, I have to do reels and I have to send 3 emails. Like, literally, this is your job. Work on it. Go fill your cup with personal development. You need that. That has to happen first. If you are not feeling good about yourself in your journey, Like if you're feeling bloated, if you're feeling tired, if you're not feeling like you're getting results, you're not going to have people joining your group. It doesn't mean you have to have a six pack. If you're not feeling good, it's going to be really hard to translate. So take care of you first, okay? And then share that. Do a couple workout clips. Share your salad that you're making. What are you cooking for kids for lunch? I don't know, whatever fits in that niche, right? Those are your stories for the day. Then you're going to take some time, if you have some time this weekend or tonight, like I'm going to find some random thing to copy tonight and do a reel. You guys can watch. It'll be like no makeup. I'm just going to come as I am, and it'll be 2 seconds and a hot mess. I'm going to do a reel a day. And if you have time to like record a few, you can save them in your drafts and like have them. We're just going to connect, think like, how can I connect with people like me? What do people like me think is funny or important right now? And then when they watch your stories, when they engage on your posts, you're just going to say, hey, thank you so much for the love. Like, would you like to join my free community or try the sample workout or whatever? Like, you're just going to keep it so basic. And that's all you do. And you're just going to wash, rinse, and repeat that. And when you get stuck in the conversations or overwhelmed, your job is not to quit and tell yourself that you're a horrible coach and everyone hates you. Okay. That is not what you do. You reach out to myself, to Jess, to your upline, and you say, help. That's what I say next. Help. I feel like a failure. Because I guarantee we've all been there, and that's what we're here to do. Is we can't give you success. It's not our job to make you show up every day, but it is our job to help you through this process. And so that's all you need to do is focus on you. Then just do those, like pull up your digital tracker, right? Like we showed you, and just check off the boxes. That'll make you feel really good if you like box checking like me. And you're just gonna share.
And you get entered in to win a trip to Mexico. Hello.
A couple girls on our team got like the $100 prize and stuff.
Did you win something?
No.
Oh,
I know. No, I keep hoping. I'm like, I keep seeing friends win stuff. I'm like,
yeah. Hey, Ashley, on your question right there on getting more views on your stories, go engage with other people's stories. You will pop up on their storyline or whatever when you are actually engaging on theirs. So that's where the connect part of our digital tracker, spend time connecting with people that in your friends list, even that don't see your stories. Go comment on their stuff, engage with their stories. That is huge on getting more views on your stories.
One thing that Brock shared, again, it sounds like go follow him. Like he's super helpful. He shared that was a really like helpful mental shift for me with my time management with social media. Was because I had been really focusing on my stories because that's where I make sales. People connect with me in my stories. That's where I invite from. So, and I'm still focusing there. But he said, stories are not going to bring you new followers. They're the place to connect to the people you already have. If you are trying to expand your network, you have to focus on your feed, not in the aesthetics. Don't get caught up with being like every 5th post has to be a white text. Like no one cares about that right now, but like you have to be putting out. So the more feed posts you're putting out, whether it's reels or a post a day, that's going to bring new people to your page. Your story views aren't going to grow if your following isn't growing either. And so that was a helpful distinction for me because I was like try to do a post maybe every other day. Like I was consistent, but it wasn't. And now I'm like, okay, dang, I need to grow my following. So a reel a day, I'm trying to do a reel a day and at least a post 4 times a week. And I'm seeing my story views go up now because some new people are coming to my page. And then I can engage with them from their site. So don't neglect your stories. That's where they get to know your personality, and that I have a giant laundry pile on my bed 24/7. And like, it's just all of that. So that was a helpful mental thing for me of like, okay, as I'm prioritizing my time, I do need to make sure I'm writing a post for doing this. And then write them if you need help with that, we're here to help you. But that's kind of how it works.
Oh.
Sorry, we've been like monopolizing this. Is there anything else that you guys need?
About invites, you guys, hopefully everyone clicked the link on here on 6 steps to master invite that you can have in your back pocket if you get stuck. Talked about growing your following, stories, posts, reels. I really do think this is where like the connecting and the inviting is where most people stop themselves, like get in their head.
The follow-up, the National Wake Up Call, Julie Kemp did it. It was a couple weeks ago. If you go back and look at the Beachbody 411 or the podcast, it was really good. And her whole thing is, she said she's an elite coach, top coach right now. I think she's like ranked number 20 in the network. She said she does 3 to 5 invites a day, and she does 5 to 10 follow-ups a day. She's not sending 200, but she is consistent as heck with her follow-ups and with tracking those people. So she said she invites, follows up 48 hours later, If they still don't respond, follows up a week later. If they still don't respond, tells them she'll follow up monthly, which she does, just puts them on an email letter or whatever. And until they see, if they say stop, then she stops. But she's not spending all of her time sending 200 invites a day. It's not this massive work, but she's really focusing on 3 to 5 value added from my stories, from my posts, like connection, and then following up diligently with the people who did request more info, who are curious about more. So I think the biggest thing that I want for you guys, and we were talking about this a little bit, Jess and Melissa and I in our thread, like we put in the hustle 5 years ago. Hustle. I don't want to say this to brag, but if you're feeling like you're putting in the hustle for a little payout, I want to just share this with you guys because I think this is important to know. I make right now weekly what my goal was as a new coach to make monthly to be able to quit my job. I was not making, I remember making $0 a lot of weeks or $50 here or there. And it's a gift. And I was telling my husband the other night, I was like, I feel guilty that I'm making this right now because I feel like I'm working 30 minutes a day, because I am honestly a lot of days right now. And he's like, I know, because you put in the work 5 years ago. And that was your goal. And you get to I'm not slacking off, but you get to own that. So I want to plant that seed. You might feel like you're working super hard right now for not a lot of return. If you guys stick this out, the return comes. And I don't want you working 5 hours a day on your coaching business. I mean, I actually wish I could. If you can't, don't do that. But be faithful and be consistent. If you said yes, let your yes be yes to this. Don't half-ass it and then complain that it's not working. Okay, but if you can be super consistent with these vital behaviors every single day, it's going to pay off. And one thing that really helped me as a new coach was that power of 3, showing up super consistently. And then also when I would get discouraged and be like, I feel like I worked, but I don't have any free time and I'm working all the time and I made $120 this week or whatever. And my husband, who's awesome, would be like, okay, Abby, how much did you actually work this week? And I'd be like, okay, maybe 3 hours. And he's like, okay, so let's divide that. You actually just made $18 an hour. That's really good. And I had to stop myself and be like, oh yeah, that is really good. So give yourself the gift of saying, okay, if I only have 2 hours a week to spend on this, I can't expect $2,000 paychecks right now. But if I'm consistent with that, that's going to come. And how can I focus on the most important tasks? So if I have 2 hours a week to work on this, then that means I need to prioritize those invites. And I need to get a post up every day that's adding value, and I need to connect with people. Making pretty graphics, adding whatever, the fluff is fun, but that's not income producing. And we want to manage your guys' time well so that it's worth the time that you're spending, worth the time that you're taking away from your family or waking up early or whatever it is. So income producing first, all the fluff stuff, blog posts, all the other fun things that's easier than sending the invites, that can come on the weekends when your husband is home and you have more time. But the day-to-day stuff that needs to be workout, PD, sending 3 invites, okay? And making a post. That's your focus. That's all it is. And when you hit a wall or you're struggling, then you reach out to your coach or your team or whatever it is for help, because that's what we're here for. And so I don't know if that helps, but that's where my head has always stayed, is in that realm. And that's really helped me push through, because I've never, and I know Jess hasn't either, and I know most of you guys haven't, I never started this with lots of time. I'll look around at coaches who are 19 with no kids, and I'm they're laying by the pool doing their check-ins. I'm
honestly,
nice.
All the coaches that I've had, that I've mentored, that have started this and not had another job, and this is their full-time job, they have all quit.
Yeah. When you're busy, you know how to manage your time.
I don't know. It's really, they get burnt out super quick, because then they're working a brand new, I'm no, you're not supposed to work this 8 hours a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Was this help? Any last things? We have 2 minutes. I don't want to take your guys' your whole night. I know it's late for you guys who are on the East Coast. Trish, do you need anything? Michaela, Jennifer, Renee, Kelly, Ash.
I guess one quick question I would have, if I just went to Instagram, so making new connections, getting new followers and stuff. I've typed in certain tags in the explore button before, but I want to find pages like you were talking about. What would you recommend typing in? Do I go to explore and then just type in stuff and find pages throughout there? That's how you do it?
Yeah, I've done that. Or if it's like if there's like, I've found certain people who are resharing like news articles or like, again, and this is, I'm not trying to like poke hot button political issues, but like for the Oregon masking issue, for instance, like there's a few gals that I follow who are like on it. And so they are posting all these different sites and I'm like, oh, perfect, following them. Like, so it doesn't even have to be something super intense. Or let's say it's like one of my favorite, I use this example for girls on my team all the time, Becky Thompson. She's one of my favorite devotional writers. I love her so much. I give her book to every friend who's having a baby. Like she's just the best. So I'm going to go to her page and I'm going to look at who she's following. If she's following certain companies or devotional sites or clothing companies, like again, that's probably in my niche. And you can spend hours doing this. Don't feel like you should, like, I don't want you doing that, but like, think about, okay, who is like the person who's in that I like respect or admire or want to emulate. Then I'm going to go look at like who they're following, who are they tagging, clothing hauls. That's another one. I try to buy stuff from like smaller shops. So like Carly Jean Los Angeles or Kiava leggings. Like if I tag them in my stories, they will repost me to their page. And that's awesome. True North collection headbands, like look around at what you're wearing. And if it's like a smaller shop, they will oftentimes repost you, which I think is really, really awesome too. So it doesn't have to be all these like big issues. It can be like, what are you wearing? Things like that. So yeah, it takes some time. Again, this is like something like I can guarantee you in 2 months, what I'm doing right now probably won't be working. Like it's constantly changing. So you just kind of have to roll with it.
One more question before we jump off. Where can you find the color wheel exercise?
Oh yeah, it's in our new coach training page. Trish, I will send it to you. I can send it to you. It's in like the new coach folder in our team Google Drive. So I'll send it over.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for showing up tonight. We're going to let you all get back to your families. We're here if you need us. We are halfway through the month, so let's hit the last half of the month hard and go change some lives. Thanks, Abby.
Bye, friend.
Bye, you guys. Have a good night.